Welcome back, TechLounge, mobilegeeks.com/TechLounge at Mobile World Congress 2015. Sasha has taken a break. He's done a good job this morning. Check out mobilegeeks.com/TechLounge for the stuff that's gone on this morning. But now you've got me for half an hour. My name's Chippy, and I'm working for Mobile Geeks this week. And actually, I'm really quite excited to talk to Christopher Price from Console Inc. is the name of the company, right?
Yes, it is.
The product is probably actually more well known. That's iConsole, and that's the iConsole TV product, right?
Yeah, we've got two products on the market. We've got Console OS, which is available at consoleos.com, and today at the show, we're introducing our first consumer member of the iConsole hardware family, and it's iConsole Micro, and it's powered by Intel Compute Stick technology.
So this is a little bit of a scoop, actually. It's the press releases haven't actually reached the wire yet. Is that right?
They're going out over the next few hours.
So scoop for you if you're watching live. iConsole or Console Inc. have just announced, or are about to announce, the iConsole Micro, right?
Yeah.
Powered by Intel Compute Stick technology.
Yep.
So if you've been following small mini PCs, you'll know that this is basically the Intel Compute Stick, right? So this is well, give me the specs on it.
All right, well, it's got a quad-core Intel Atom processor. It's got built-in 802.11n Wi-Fi, Bluetooth. It's got a micro SD slot. It can hold up to 128 gigs of storage, and it's really powerful. I mean, that's the great thing that makes iConsole Micro different from all the other Android sticks out there, is its performance without the trade-off of the size profile. This is the smallest production PC out there, and it's also as powerful as a traditional desktop.
Let's take a step back, though. Explain what Console TV is for the people that haven't seen or heard of it yet.
So you can learn more about it at iConsole.tv. We're taking that site live right now. The people on the West Coast got up pretty early for that. We've got a great team back in Santa Clara. iConsole.tv is our hardware. Console OS is our software. That's our distribution of Android for the PC. What makes iConsole Micro unique is that it's going to support both the Android TV platform and also serve double duty as an Android PC.
Right. So this, basically, HDMI PC dongle is going to come with both Android TV capability and your Console OS capability, right?
It's going to be one Android platform. You're going to be able to do both.
So I can basically walk into a hotel, plug this into the HDMI port. I've got my PC here, so I can actually connect a keyboard, right, and use it as an Android PC.
USB or Bluetooth.
And then I've got 128 gigs worth of micro SD storage plus whatever's in here.
Yeah.
All my content so that I can play my games, watch my videos, make my presentations. I mean, you can walk into a presentation room, connect this into a projector, right?
Exactly. You've got the operating system, the apps, the documents with you, and they're all encrypted, so you don't have to worry about losing it.
So if I buy this, and we'll talk about when it's going to be available and maybe how much in a bit, can I do other things with it? Can I install my own OS on it?
So, we follow the Nexus ethos there. We have a fully unlocked UEFI bootloader. UEFI is the industry standard, not just for Intel, but for the entire PC industry. And you can do what you want with it. Our focus is on making Android a really great operating system. We started that with Console OS. We're now taking that to the hardware as well with iConsole Micro.
2 years ago, actually, when I first met you, Christopher, it was here at IFA, wasn't it? I think 2 years ago. You were demonstrating Console OS on I think it was an Ultrabook at the time.
Yeah.
And we were seeing some excellent gaming. Is that really still the main focus of Console OS, or is this TV aspect coming in and being more important for you now?
So one of the great things why we use Intel chips, and we're treated just like anyone else on the Intel ecosystem, but we really love Intel processors because they're spanning the mobile space and the high-performance space with the same silicon. So what we can do with a device like iConsole Micro is give people the same performance that they would expect from a really fast Android tablet. And then when you step into a more premium device like an Intel Core 2-in-1, Console OS can start really delivering that mainstream precision gaming without forcing Android app developers to rewrite their games.
Yeah, and we're not talking about gaming graphics quality that you might see on a small, cheap tablet, because you were telling me, I think it was last year when we met again, about developers. They really are creating 4K source graphics now, right? So you're not going to lose anything by moving up to a 1080p screen, right?
Oh, of course not. And
you're not going to have jaggies all over the place. You're going to have full quality graphics in most cases.
And that's the value proposition to developers. Scaling your Android games to Console OS doesn't require additional code. We don't have an SDK. All we ask you to do is try it out, download Console OS. It's a free download right now. Put it on to a compatible 2-in-1, any device with an Intel Core processor that we support, and try it and see how packing in better graphics, better assets can take your Android game and make it a really high performance, really nice game for ordinary people to play. Same ordinary people we're opening the doors to Console OS to download right now.
I think gaming is a really important thing. When I look at gaming with my son, he's only 4. We muck around. The first place we go to is Android, right? The first place we go to is Android. That's so accessible, that store or that ecosystem, right? And there's just such a massive range of gaming from really entry level to some incredibly complex stuff, right?
It's going to get more complex.
Well,
yeah.
with if they can run it on platforms that Console OS supports, then of course they have the opportunity to do some really high-powered stuff.
Sure,
right?
I mean, just at the show, Unreal Engine became free, and one of the great things with Unreal Engine is the ability to push the limits. We've been demoing at the booth Unreal Engine 4, and really running Android games faster than ever before. We've got OpenGL ES3 right here on this 2-in-1.
Let's just have a look at this. Let's just put this towards this camera here.
All right.
If we can let me just hold your mic for you,
right.
and then you can do a quick demo of that one.
I mean, you can see right here how the frame rate just holds up very well. And I apologize, my upside-down graphic skills have a little work to do, but you can see that Android scales so nicely on Intel Core 2-in-1s. The frame rate holds up really well, and the thing that really excites us is that game developers are telling us that they're taking the assets from their console game targets, mixing it with Console OS and Android, and they're getting the same kind of performance. They're getting one app, one experience that gamers like that now scales from phone to tablet to PC and eventually gaming consoles, all running Android, all running one code base.
Just want to go back to one thing you said. Unreal Engine 4 is now free?
So it's now free to download. It previously was $20 a month to get the engine. You can now go to Epic Games' website, download Unreal Engine free of charge, and you can actually build this demo that we're playing right here, and you can also download Console OS for free.
That's what I was going to come to.
You can download both for free, and you can now see what Android can do in the next generation of devices, and also what 2-in-1s can do when they run Android through Console OS.
We mentioned briefly open source earlier. Is Console OS an open source product, or are you going to make it open
Currently,
source?
it isn't. We announced about a month ago that we are working on that. We think open wins. We want to make Console OS open source. One of the things that makes Console OS great is that it's the first commercial distribution of Android for the PC. So we've worked with a lot of platform and hardware and ecosystem vendors, and we're now going through one by one and saying, what can we take of your code open source? What can we put into people's hands so that you can build Console OS in the open as much as possible? And we really hope by the end of the year that people will be able to churn out their own Console OS builds. That's a mission for us. It's something we're really excited about doing.
And in terms of OS, of course, there comes an advantage for security, right? You can analyze the code. If you really want to take Console OS and use it for secure applications, you can analyze that code as much as you need to make sure there's no backdoors, etc., etc.
Yeah, I mean, Android started with Linux. Linux is open source. AOSP, the Android open source project, is open source. we want to go one step farther and take Android for the PC and make sure that's open source too. And that making console OS open source is something we feel good about doing. It's a challenge, but it's a fun challenge.
And it's good to actually see someone trying to push that, because a purely open source, not only gaming entertainment platform, but something that could be used for productivity and security applications, I think is lacking in the market.
Yeah, I mean, iConsole Micro is an IoT play as much as it is a PC play. We want to give entrepreneurs, innovators that were in a place where we were maybe 24 months ago, the ability to have a fully certified device that they can just plug in anywhere and see what it's like to have the full range of IoT functionality, full range of PC hardware, behind a dashboard, under a chair, on a plane, anywhere really. And we're already doing that today with Console OS, because you can take Intel's MinoBoard Max platform, which you can get all the blueprints for that. You can build your own device. I think it's fair to say MinoBoard Max really was a predecessor to Intel Compute Stick and iConsole Micro. And we're delivering the first Android distribution that enables MinoBoard Max to be fully Android compatible. No gatekeepers. You just download Console OS, you download the blueprints for MinoBoard Max, and you can be taking an Android device to market in a few months.
So it's a shortcut to market as well. Sticking with security, are we talking about Android 5 here or Android 4? What's Console OS built on at the moment?
So the public download Console OS is based on Android KitKat. Console OS was made possible by Kickstarter backers. They voted with their wallets to tell the industry Android should be on the PC.
That was quite a successful campaign, right?
Thank you. We got more than a few thousand backers. We raised about $75,000. So they're getting first crack at Lollipop. We shipped a Lollipop technical preview at the end of January. We're going to ship them the first alpha builds and nightly builds of Lollipop by the end of this month, and iConsole Micro will ship this summer with Android Lollipop out of the box.
So with Android 5, this is why I mentioned security, you get encryption built in, right? It's baked into Android 5.
Yeah, Android 5 makes encryption actually mandatory. Android KitKat has some encryption functionality in it, but Android 5.0 really kicks that into high gear. If you set a PIN or a password, and we're going to carry that over to Console OS, no one's going to get your data.
So I can take this, I can go and plug it into a monitor, I can work with it, create secure or private data, and I can carry it somewhere. If I lose it or it gets stolen, assuming I've got a password protected screen, lock screen, open screen, that's a safe device to be using to carry data.
Once you set a PIN or a password, you're all set.
Maybe I'm focusing too much on security because I've got a bit of a security background and a security swing at the moment. I've actually been spending too much time at the Intel security booth here. It's really sad. I should be thinking about the games. Let's move on from security to the store.
Okay.
How are you enabling people to download games? Because you're not Google Play certified, right?
So we're Android compatible. And we've always said we won't stand in the way of Google Play. We really haven't had those conversations yet with Google about iConsole Micro. We look forward to having those. Currently, Console OS, when you download it, it comes with the Amazon App Store. And you can sideload in apps from other sources. We hate walled gardens. And it's really an ethical thing for us. It's one of the reasons why we were so driven to burn the midnight oil, put it all on the line, and build Console OS at sometimes in spite of the industry, but always with the interest from consumers, because we see that same fear that a lot of consumers have, that the PC is becoming a walled garden, and we're not going to let that happen.
Right. So do you think in the future this Play Store is going to happen, or what chance do you give that step?
So.
It's quite a significant one,
when we say we don't stand in the way of Google Play.
It's not just Play Store, is it? It's things like Maps and all that sort of stuff, Gmail integration.
You know, we also don't stand in the way of people doing that themselves. You know, if you feel you're sufficiently licensed to run Google Play on whether it's iConsole Micro or Console OS, we're never going to poison pill our products from Google Play, even if we don't make money from that revenue stream. It would be unethical, and it would be a violation of Android's compatibility for us to stop you from sideloading Google Play yourself. It'll be interesting to see which app stores we use or whether we have our own app store. I think that the next few months are going to be pretty key there.
Because that is actually, I mean, we were talking about Android application permissions with Intel earlier, and so you actually are a build of Android that would allow, let's say, a third-party app to check all permissions and change permissions, right? Because let's a lockdown Android or an unrooted Android would not let an app change permissions of another app, right?
So
am I right in saying that even within console OS,
depends on what you mean by permissions, but in general, whether you have a rooted Android device or an unrooted Android device, one app can't change the permissions of another app without the user authorizing that. You have to expressly grant that. That's the same with all of our products.
Right, okay.
Yeah,
because I think that's one of the big issues of for security and privacy on Android right now is that people are downloading the apps and just hitting yes. They do not know what the permissions are, what permissions they've given. But at a later date, they might want to change that. And the only thing they can get is an alert or just find out what the permissions are. And they can either deinstall it or leave it installed. They can't fine-tune an app's permission.
And some of that is up to Google. They define the platform. It's a little bit above my pay grade to tell Google how to structure Android permissions or Android security. What we're focused on is the platform. We're focused on making sure that if your device gets stolen, you're protected. We work with App Store vendors to make sure that people are told up front what apps can and can't use. I couldn't see us using an App Store that made that too obscure or obtuse. But at the same time, you're right. It's a valid question, but it's not an Android-specific question. All the mobile operating systems have this as well, even iOS. And if you don't feel secure about using apps from unknown sources, stay within the garden of an app store. It doesn't have to be a walled garden, but generally if you work within an app store's confines, especially if it's a very reputable app store, you're going to be fine.
Right. So iConsole Micro, what sort of target market, what sort of users are going to be buying this? We talked about security, we talked about presentations, but this goes far wider than that, right?
Yeah, I think it's going to be a very mainstream consumer device. You know, we're setting a target price of our main SKU, and we'll be announcing all the SKUs at the end of the month. But our target price
can't tell us a price now.
I can tell you the target price. Our main play price point is going to be $129.
$129.
$129.
So that's a quad-core x86 HDMI PC stick plus console OS for $129.
Yep.
That just seems like a pretty good deal to me.
Our goal is not to make a lot of money on the hardware. I can't go out and buy a
cheap Intel tablet and install my own OS, and that's a pretty difficult thing to do, right? I can't go out and buy... I mean, I could go out and buy an Intel NUC or something similar, and I could probably install console OS on it, right? But it wouldn't be as portable.
Well, first, let me correct myself. We are making money on the hardware. We do have good margins there, but our focus is on the platform and in the experience with console OS. So we're going to make console OS available to other Intel Compute Stick devices as well. Right. There's no restrictions there. We also support a lot of Intel NUCs already. We'll be supporting a lot more in the future. The NUC team's been very great in working with us to make sure we have all the access we need on that front, get out in front of that. You know, I think the people are going to want to buy iConsole Micro are going to be average consumers that are sick and tired of getting to a hotel room, getting to a projector, and finding they don't have what they need, or their Wi-Fi slinging media option doesn't work, and then they're stuck choosing between a phone that may not have an HDMI port or sacrificing their laptop to enjoy television somewhere. You now have a computer that also can be a TV stick. It's really the Swiss Army knife of PCs.
I can see a lot of home theater PC for this is fanless, I assume, right?
Oh, yeah.
I don't see a fan being built into this. But home theater PC, I mean, this can handle... I tested one of the cheap platforms recently, and we threw up 4 2K videos that were each running 30 megabits per second at the same time. So we had 120 megabits of video, H.264 video running through it at the same time. No problem at all.
Yeah. So it's not just about video, though. I mean... When you're running Android, you're talking about multitasking. One app can bog down the experience. And it might be an app that you really want, like weather notification. If you're in a severe weather area, as people put more and more apps on it, all these devices have built-in H.264 decoders. but you can still have your streaming video, your Netflix, your Hulu get messed up by something else running in the background.
Right, yeah.
With a quad-core Intel Atom processor, we're giving people the ability to bring all their apps, everything that they've got on their tablet or their phone, to that stick and use it in whatever environment they want without having to reconfigure or worry about the conventional overhead of slower sticks, basically.
What about developing markets? I'm looking at this thinking it's small, it's got the OS on it, it's fairly secure.
Yeah. So we plan to ship this worldwide. I think, like I said, 129 is our target SKU for the US and EU markets. We're certainly going to play well there. You can bet that we'll be working on more affordable SKUs in the coming months.
All right, that more portable or more accessible?
Both.
That's a price and a size reference from me there. You don't have to say yes. But yeah, actually, I think I was in Ukraine in December. I did some training for some journalists out there. They have some real problems getting hold of computers. I mean, there's two issues. One, there's not many computers around on the retail market. Number two, they don't earn much, right? It costs them about effectively 10 times as much to buy a PC as it would cost us in terms of monthly salary. They have, I think on average, they're buying one netbook every 3 years, and sometimes that's a second-hand netbook. So we're talking about $200 every 2 years of compute buying power. They're also buying PCs that have hacked versions of XP on them. They can't afford the licensing. And those hacked versions of XP don't have firewall, they don't have antivirus. It's an absolute mess. You know, this is the worst thing. They actually stick a 3G card in it and run the Ukrainian newspaper connectivity over Russian 3G networks. It's hilarious. But my point is that this is quite a nice, secure, portable solution that journalists could go into anywhere, do some work, or receive some data, stick this in his pocket, or actually use this to put it in the secure place. Could even wipe this very quickly, right?
Oh, yeah. It's just factory data reset, just like Android. And to be clear, iConsole Micro will ship with antivirus out of the box built into the kernel and the platform. So we have that endpoint security built in. We wouldn't feel comfortable shipping it otherwise. When you do move out of the walled garden, you have to make sure that users stay secure.
Right. What about productivity? Can I stick this into my screen, add a USB or a Bluetooth keyboard, mouse, and really work with productivity apps from Android? Are there any apps I can work with? How's it looking now?
Absolutely. I mean, Microsoft Office is now even available for Android. Full Microsoft Office document compatibility is not an issue, whether it's Word, Excel, PowerPoint, file formats, what have you there.
And you did things to Console OS to make it more accessible from keyboard and mouse, right?
Yeah, we've made it non-touch friendly. So we've kept everything that makes Android great in touch environments, like a 2-in-1. We've made that. We've kept that, but we've also been focused on adding in non-touch enhancements to make it very easy if you don't have a touch screen, if you just have a keyboard and a mouse, to make that work. One interesting thing that we do, though, in the labs is we've been developing these with HDMI multi-touch displays, so you actually can use it as a touch device.
Well, that could be quite good presentations, that sort of stuff, right?
Yeah.
Marketing, advertising.
We've been testing both with Dell and also with G-Chic, their portable display maker that has portable multi-touch displays.
Education markets.
Certainly. I mean, that's the nice thing is that each student can have a stick and they can use it in these different environments. In the U.S., go back to what you said about emerging markets, classrooms kind of similar. In the U.S., this is a convenience play. People have tablets, they have laptops. This is about making it easier for them to watch all their movies and media and not worry about losing it. But in the developing world, this could be their only computer. And that's where the difference between the price of that device and a tablet really matters.
You could stick a solar panel on this and power it from a solar panel, right? Easy. That's like a 5-watt platform,
my
right?
engineers might get in trouble with me on that. So
okay, let me just say you have to put the regulator between the...
Intriguing.
I've done it. No, what you do is you actually use one of these little solar chargers, which is the regulator, and then it feeds it through so it's actually quite clean power. Yeah. I've done it with a tablet. I've run a Windows tablet off a solar panel. No problem. So actually, and it's a super efficient PC as well.
The only very high power drain is if you plug in like a powered USB hard drive, like a laptop hard drive. You will need a full 2 amps to make something like that work. But the average power drain is less than half that.
Right. So that's USB 2 on there, right?
USB 2.0, and we also support Wi-Di and Miracast in case I didn't say that before.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah.
So you could use
you actually could use it without an HDMI or a
I
DVI display.
was going to say, you could just plug this into the PC with the USB connectivity and then Wi-Di it to a Wi-Di receiver on the same TV.
We've been having some fun with that. I think there's some issues to sort out about how do you make those connections when you don't have a display at first, but once you get it up and running, yeah, you can do that. Yeah,
so you could actually plug this into your PC to power it and then Wi-Di. No, we're getting into weird territory.
There will be all sorts of interesting footnotes on the wiki about that. We've got a great support wiki already.
And I think that's one of the really cool things about this. It actually kind of makes you think, oh, what could I do with it? What could I do with it? You know, and I think the people, you know, you talked about mainstream market. I think there's going to be a lot of early adopters are going to be doing experimentation with this.
One of the things that excites me is the community that's already there. Console OS, we opened up the download a couple of weeks ago. People on the Console OS forums have already figured out how to get Surface Pro Wi-Fi working. The Console OS wiki has hundreds of step-by-step details. So as we make this stuff free, we're finding out people are solving some of our issues for us, and that's great.
So I think we're nearly out of time. Is that right? I just got the nod here. So let's just round up. That's the iConsole Micro. The press release is going out. So this is a scoop, guys. iConsole Micro. The press release is going out later. 129 is the target price for this. Coming with Console OS. I think that's quite exciting, and I'm going to be interested to.
I need it back. Yeah, no, sorry.
Oh, come on. That was part of the deal, right?
No, nice try.
Christopher Price, thanks very much.
Yep,
and good luck with the project. Thank you.